Alrighty, folks. After considerable time, we have decided amongst ourselves as a community what we think the ban list could be. This is not a wish list. We will have wish lists right after, but this is all hits that either people in the community think are possible or would like to see, kind of wish list adjacent, or what we think will happen. Some of these, namely one of these in particular, I do not want to see hit, but I think might be hit for staple purposes, but I don't think it should, and I also don't think it's particularly likely, but I did want to talk about it, so it is here. If I see anyone commenting about, wow, you're so stupid thinking they should hit X card before I talk about it, and it's the card that I'm thinking they shouldn't ban, but they might, you're going to get banned from the channel because sometimes you just got to hold your horses on writing a comment. Don't expect me to to read comments from people who don't watch videos, you know what I'm saying? So let's go through it, not in order, but in whatever fucking order I feel like. These are all the big ones. Dragon Spirit of White. I think this is a better hit over Bingo Machine Go because a lot of them aren't playing 3 Bingo Machine Go, and I want Blue Eyes to have as little access to the Limit 3 cards as possible. If they're playing 2 Limit 3 Bingo Machines and 1 Crackdown, you're still going to get sacked by Crackdown into Successor Soul, and that is something I do not believe should ever happen. So we're going to put Dragon Spirit of White to 3, because if they cut down on Dragon Spirit of White, they're losing out on probably their actual best normal summon. So fair enough. If you want to make your deck worse to play 1 copy of Crackdown, fair enough. We've got 2 Mizuki. This is kind of one I don't want to see hit. A, it's new. B, I actually did spend extra gems and money pulling for it, and that's a reason enough for it to never get hit. I think it'd be funnier if they hit the level 6 Foolish Burial from the structure deck, so I don't have to buy 3 of it. That would be very nice, Konami. But something in Zombies needs to get hit. Additionally, for dragons, if Melody or if Spirit of White isn't enough to 3 to get those freaks to stop playing Crackdown, you can lose your Melody too, for all I care, jackass. So this is a possible extra hit if we want to be extra mean to Kaiba, and I know most Duel Links fans really do want to be mean to Kaiba, so that'll be a treat for the community for being so wonderful. Kaiba's deck completely gutted. I think Area 0 needs to go to 3. It's the Sky Striker card that I'm seeing most people play 3 of. Likewise, I don't think this deck should be able to Area 0 something they steal off Crackdown. That seems incredibly unfair in a deck that gets double fucking engage. I also think the skill should be nerfed to add fucking 1 engage, because that's all you fucking... Like, the deck was meta in the fucking OCG with 1 Ray and 2 engage, I'm pretty sure. So, like, you think that's not going to be insane here? Come on. So put this to 3 and potentially Eagle Booster to 1. If they only put Area 0 to 3, which is what I think is probably going to happen, you can still functionally play 3 copies of it by playing 2 Area 0 and 1 Terraforming, which means you're still allowed to sack people with your 1 of Crackdown, which is really feels bad and I don't think should be part of the game. So if we put something not super important, maybe Afterburners is a better fit because they'd probably play Afterburners over this. But Afterburner or Eagle Booster to 1, a card you would only really play 1, maybe 2 of in Afterburner's case, shouldn't be that big of a hit to the deck and will dissuade them from playing only 2 Area 0, because now you can't play the 1 Terraforming to search it. If you want to have 3 Area 0s in your deck, you got to play 3, which means no Limit 3 staples, and that's my goal with this ban list, is to take the best decks off the Limit 3 traps, but to keep their strategies intact as much as possible, with the exception of Blue Eyes, because no one likes Kaiba. We're going to put DM Circle to 1 at the request of a particular chatter. I don't think Butthole Chronicle Magician is good at all, but if they're not going to hit Butthole Chronicle, which they might not, then maybe put Circle to 1. I don't think Dark Magician needs a hit, but I do hate Dark Magician, so I would like to see the players as upset as possible at all times. So potentially Dark Magic Circle to 3, and to be funny, put Rod back to 1. That would be epic and poggers. But I don't think it needs to happen or will happen, but boy, it sure would be funny. And TG needs something else at 3 because the skill searches their Limit 3 card anyway. Just put Screw Serpent and probably something else to 3. You could put 2 cards in there to 3 if you want. Probably you should, since the skill searches 1, if you play 2 and 1 of the Limit 3 cards, you can search the 1 Limit 3 Tech Genus monster you play with the Limit 3 booster you play, and then you can have another booster over blaster for later in the duel, which seems like ass. So probably put 2 monsters in TG to 3 would be ideal. And then the card I really do not want to see them hit, but I think might get hit on the 3 list simply because it's probably stronger than any of the limit 3 traps in this particular format, is DD Crow. I don't want this card to get hit. I don't know how likely it is. I feel like it's not super likely, but like given that Zombie in particular is eschewing limit 3 cards for just DD Crow and Veiler is not nearly as good as Crow. If any hand trap is going to be hit, it would be Crow. I don't want them to hit it. I think it is possible if any hand trap gets hit, it's this one. Obviously won't go to anything less than 3, but kind of being put to 3 is a death sentence because you really want to draw this card, and if you want to draw this card, you're going to be playing at least 2, which means you're going to be sacking into your other limit 3 traps or just not playing them, or you're going to be sacking into Crow. But because Crow is less inherently powerful in a vacuum, you probably would rather sack into the more powerful card than the more consistent interruption on turn 2. So I don't imagine you'd play less than 2 Crow if it went to 3, unless you're really gooning for Crackdown or IDP, which a lot of people are, let's be honest. Skill changes, they probably need to nerf... also effect damage on the Ubel shit, just because that deck sucks. What else? Nerf Butthole Chronicle. Probably need to minus yourself if you want to keep searching cards. All these fucking search skills need to be once per duel, man. It's the best theoretical hit if they don't hit Butthurt Chronicle. Yeah, but I don't think DM needs a hit is where I'm at. What else? What skills need nerfing? Butthole Chronicle needs to be nerfed. Once per duel, shuffle something from hand back. Or just shuffle something from hand back. If it's once per duel, you probably don't even need to shuffle from hand. What else? The Shiranui skill, please. I don't know how broken... I mean, if Mizuki goes to 2, that's a hit. If Shiranui needs a hit, maybe Mizuki to 3. I could see Mizuki and DD Crow to 3 actually is a real hit to Zombie in terms of how many hand traps it can run, and Shiranui and how many Mizuki it can run. So I can see that. I can also see Mizuki to 2, just because that conflicts with Gold Sark. So Mizuki's the only card on this list that I can see going to either 3 or 2. Everything else I think is just going to 3. Oh, except the extra bad Sky Striker card, which will go to 1. And probably won't even go to 1. I just think there's a reason to keep them off terraforming if we put this to 3, so they can't play 2. I've explained it before. 2 field spell and 1 terraforming and a limit 3 trap. So the Shiranui skill probably needs to get hit. I mean, I'm a bad person to come to when it comes to what skills need to be hit. I think the Galaxy skill needs to be hit. I think the fucking Blackluster Soldier skill needs to be hit. I think the fucking Raging Pendulum skill needs to be hit. I think fucking the Floral Knights fucking skill needs to be hit. I think every Synchro skill mostly in the game needs to be hit. I think Order to Chaos needs to be hit. I think Blue Eyes Dimension needs to be hit. I think Magician's Magic needs to be hit. I think every consistency skill in the game that also breaks another rule of deck building, either letting you normal summon, shuffling Garnets back, and then letting you place them on the field for free. I think the Zombie skill needs to be hit as well, for example. I think all that shit should be gone. That is not fun and intuitive, and I want to play card games, but the majority of the fan base loves clicking buttons more than they like clicking cards, so I'm not going to spend my time screaming at wall. That is mostly the ban list that I think will be likely to happen. Now on to the shit I want to get the fuck off the list. Let's bring Woodland Sprite back. No. Take this fucking card off. Some of the synchros can be taken off, especially if we start like taking skills out back. Like, none of the Magistus cards need to be on the list if you do the correct thing and hit the BLS skill. So, take every fucking Magistus card off the list. Probably Crocodragon and Riser Dragon can come off if we do something sensible to these synchro skills, which we're not going to do, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it. Spear Cretin is a card that like doesn't need to be on the list, but it also doesn't do anything cool, so I'm not going to put it off the list. Keep it to 1. Fuck them. Performapal Flyer Flux, what the fuck does this card do? Performapal Artist Magic Control attacks you're fucking at. That's Armades. That's crazy. Once per turn, you contribute. That's crazy. Yeah. This can come off the list. Trishula, not really doing anything. We can probably take Trishula off and leave it at hard limit 1. I could see Riser coming off potentially. All these cards need to stay on. Potentially Pleiades can come off. I think what's making Constellar bad is not its lack of consistency, so let him have Rhoda. Pleiades can probably come off the list, although you're hard-pressed to find me being happy about that because, of course, Constellar lives and breathes off of its skill, and I think that shit sucks. But purely from a power level perspective, Pleiades can come off, and Constellar can get Rota. If they nerf the fucking Raging Pendulum skill, isn't Pendulum Gagaga what got this banned? Or Gaga, maybe it was Gagaga Orchist, but like, if you put Beatrice to 1, which they should do, you can probably like put this to 3. Maybe not though. Ban this card. This card should not be in the game. Take Roar off the list. 1 Counter Trap Negate does not a tier 1 deck make. And you basically dedicate your whole combo to setting up Roar. Granted, you are a very resilient deck in terms of comeback ability, but 1 Roar is not going to win them the game on the spot. And it, of course, is not a search card. They don't get this to hand. They send it to grave, meaning it's susceptible to the best hand trap in the game. And if they don't put DD Crow to 3, you probably should be playing 3 in every deck you play. And you should be playing at least 1 or 2 Cosmic Cyclones most of the time. Both of these are very good at dealing with Roar, which means 5 out of 20 cards in your deck hose this card. Roar is not going to make Salamander Great tiered 1. It would make them playable, and that's what everyone wants. Everyone wants Salamander Great to be playable because Salamander Great is a fun deck to play and play against, and no one disagrees with that. Mirror Force, keep it at 1. No one likes it. I don't think we need more copies of Light Stage, but I do think Trickstar should be allowed to play Terraforming. So take this card off the limit 1 list and just keep 1 copy in the game. The fuck? Shut up, Kyle. Moving now to the limit 2 list. This is like the fakest section of the ban list these days. Crimson Fox can come off. Digital Bug Rhino Balls can come off. I don't know if this can come off. Put this card to 1. This card can come off, and put this card to 1. I am a pretty big semi-limited stan in the TCG and Master Duel. I think it's fine. But in Duel Links, yeah, none of these cards need to be at 2. They can all either go to limit 3, unlimited, or limit 1. Unlimited. This is, maybe you need this at 2. I don't fucking know. Put this card to 1, unlimit, and put it to 1. Take this off the list. Actually, Blue Eyes players will play this. Put this to 0. Silent Sword Slash can probably come off. Megaroid City can definitely come off. This card probably needs to be at 2. Cybernetic Overflow, ban this card. Void Feast and Void Vanishment are the ones I want to talk about the most. I do think Infernoids would be really good this format, and I would like to see them get a chance to compete, but I do not want them to resolve Void Feast more than once, so I think put Feast to 1. This lets them play 3 copies overall in a 20-card deck. Or put Void Vanishment to 3 and Feast to 1. This gives them 4 copies overall to find it in their deck, but only 1 copy to activate over the course of a game. So that gives them 1 really big push, but then for the rest of their duel, their graveyard's kind of set up. And of course, they can continue searching Void Seer and even Void Trap Hole if you want to be funny. I'd kind of like it if Void Trap Hole became like good enough. Yeah, I'd like to see Void Vanishment either to 3 or stay where it is, but I'd like to see Void Feast go to 1 to allow Voids more consistency without more chances to resolve Feast. They do not put main box URs to 2. Vessel for the Dragon Cycle, I think this can come off. I think the meta was in a really good spot prior to, like, whatever the fuck happened before Tachyon came out. And I would like to see a lot of the good decks from that era be good again. And the only deck that I can think of from that era that was directly hit in terms of cards was Tenyi. Obviously, BLS got, like, Magistus killed, but, like, you can just rework the BLS skill and let all those cards off. But Tenyi, I think even full power Tenyi would fit right in to the current metagame. So I would like to see Vessel for the Dragon Cycle taken off the ban list. Limit 3, this is the real shit. Unlimit this card, ban this card, unlimit this card, put this card to 2, unlimit this card. This card needs to stay. This card needs to stay. Put this card to 1. Ban this card. Unlimit this card. Ban this card. Ban this card. Ban. No, I'm just kidding. This card, I don't know if this needs to stay at 3. I don't know if this needs to stay at 3. This card needs to stay at 3. This card needs to stay at 3. Unlimit this card. Unlimit this card. Nerf the skill. This card can probably come off. This card can definitely come off, and this card just shouldn't have been added to the game. They're never going to be able to take Armageddon Knight off the 3 list, and I don't think there will ever be a deck in which you actively want to play a Limit 3 normal summon outside of your archetype. Like, yeah, you're going to play Limit 3 Harp in Orcust, but that's because you're playing Orcust. Like, you're not going to be playing Armageddon Knight in Orcust instead of, like, a Limit 3 trap if you had access to them. But I don't think anyone wants Orcust to have access to Limit 3 traps. I know I don't. Endymion is a really cool card. I think normal summonable Upstart Goblin is really cool for Duel Links, where, like, archetypes aren't as easy to spam the board from nowhere like they are in the TCG. It's a shame that Blackluster Soldier ruined that for everyone. Take the skill out back and set this card free has always been my stance. I'd like to see Nightmare to 2 and then deal with the skills that Orcust was abusing. Raging Pendulum monsters. I don't know what skill restriction they should add, how they would word it rather, but you shouldn't be able to access Beatrice, which is why Beatrice should go to 1 so it conflicts with Raging Dragon. But yeah, I think if you stop Determination to Fuck and Raging Boner, you can ease your restrictions on Orcust, and Pure Orcust is everyone's favorite deck, so I think Konami should give the fans what they want, and what the fans want is more Orcust. Silver Rocket, I think, can be set free. Rocket isn't doing anything at all. It kind of sucks to get shit ripped out of your extra deck, but, like, I mean, I don't fucking know. Rocket, I think, needs more level 4s, and also they need more Limit 3 traps to carry them because they're just not quite keeping up. What I think actually could happen is we could see some Rocket support make their way to Duel Links. That's what Rocket needs, but since we're only talking about, like, banning and unbanning, what Rocket needs is more of their is looser restriction. So I would say take Silver Rocket Dragon either off the list or put it to 2. Because if you put it to 2, they can only play 2, and then they get their Limit 3 traps back. Meluseek can come off if they put Protocol to 3. And this thing, like I said, you can never take this off the list. But as long as it's on the list, it will never be played. So who cares? It's not even a real... It might as well not be a real card. I think World Legacy Memory can come off or go to 2. I think Mech Knights can easily have 3 purple and 2 memory, or 3 purple and 3 memory and be fine. Especially because I feel like a lot of good fucking cards right now dodge the on-field allegations. And, like, every good deck is playing Spell and Trap removal or has searchable Spell and Trap removal. And... I don't know. It's difficult to argue in favor of Mech Knight getting support because Skill Drain Turbo is so lame. But, like, I don't know. Maybe we can just say ban the Skill Drain. But if we ban the Skill Drain, the deck probably isn't fucking good at all. So, I don't know. I definitely think Mech Knight can get this to Unlimited or to 2. And it wouldn't make the format... Like, you wouldn't be seeing it all the time. Oh, shit, I'm bleeding. If you set the Magician level 7 free, you can keep this at 3. And this is probably a better card to keep at 3 than the Magician. This card needs to stay here, although it's kind of worse than the other cards on the Limit 3 list, so it's kind of in a weird spot, but it's still good enough to keep on the 3 list, especially with Pendulums. This card needs to stay, this card needs to stay, this card needs to stay, this card needs to stay. I'm tempted to say Lost Wind can come off, but it probably can't. I'm tempted to say Terrors of the Overroot can come off because it targets and it's not a +1, but it does seem very good. And Fusion Deployment probably will come off. That's where I'm at. I'm sorry if this was not very easy to watch because I didn't list everything that I thought could come off. Because Duel Links is a bad game, I can't click on all the cards that I want to add to this deck to talk about. Without Duel Links saying, I actually hate you, Scat, please stop playing this game. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I think these could get hit, and I just want to see a ton of unhits. I want to see Salamangreat shit get unhit. I want to see Infernoid shit get unhit. I want to see Mech Knight shit get unhit. I want to see Tenyi shit get unhit. I want to see Magistus shit get unhit. I want to see Orcus shit get unhit, and I want to see a lot of rebalancing to skills that caused incidental abuse of cards that, well, good, are not good enough to warrant their decks getting slaughtered on the ban list. That's where I'm at. I would rather see the power level of older decks come up rather than new decks getting slaughtered, especially because all the best decks are new decks. So I don't see a particularly huge list affecting those decks coming up. It'd be more interesting if older decks could compete more effectively with the new shit, and I think unhitting a lot of the strategies I talked about allows that to happen. So thank you all for watching. I hope you did enjoy this video. I will see you in the next one. I don't really know how to end videos, so bye. Like and comment. Suck my balls.